What's up, YouTubers? So I've got a travel trailer with the old style screw down clamps for the bunk ends, and those are getting a little bit old. I don't want to keep spending $22 every time I got to replace them. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. So I ended up getting some of the latch style secure things with the locks on them to put on there, and I'm going to walk you through the process of installing them, since I haven't seen Jack on YouTube showing me how to do it. I read little bits and pieces in forums and kind of put together what I'm assuming is the right way. So follow along if you're looking to do this as well, and see how I do it. So here's what I currently have: the screw down clamps, and this is a trail light trailer, Bantam model, and it's got bunks on the front and the back. I've already removed one of the clamps on this side. I filled in the holes with just some caulk. Looked at the size of the screws that came out of there, and they were roughly 1.25 inches, maybe a little bit less. Here's the style that I'm going to put on now. Very, very nice. I got locks here. It's got 3 little screw holes there, 2 on here. I've heard of some people having 4 on theirs. This one just has 2. So I went with some number 12 1.25 inches, just shy of 1.25 inches screws for this guy here. So I'm going to screw those down with that. And then I've got some other hardware here, some long bolts, some shorter bolts, some washers, and cap style nuts for this thing here. I'm going to go all the way through the bunk and secure it with these little like cap button type nuts. Alright, so, and I also got some contact paper. I didn't want this thing to be directly touching the trailer itself and just over time kind of grinding into it, or just grinding in from the force of the screw going down. So I got some contact paper from Ace Hardware, cut some strips of that, and I'm going to put this behind there, and I'm also going to use the gooey, whatever this is called, I can't remember the name of it, but I'll try to post the name once I edit the video. But it's the white stuff that you usually put on. It's like plumber's kind of tape. You put it on anytime you're putting stuff on your trailer. So it would be the same stuff that's currently under here right now. It's like chewing gum. Delicious. Alright, so to get started, I'm going to drill some pilot holes, top and bottom, for that first clamp, and then I'll screw it down. I'm going to put the gooey stuff here underneath. I'll put the black contact paper next, and then the actual clamp itself, or the arm, right over the top of that, and then screw it in. Fun stuff. Alright, so I'm going to try to give you guys as much information as I can along the way. So in order to drill those pilot holes, I'm going to use a 1/8 inch bit, 1/8 on top and bottom. And one other thing I want to point out is that this arm does not sit flush on mine. I've seen other trailers and there's a little bit more room here. Mine does not, and it's a little bit at an angle. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to try to raise it up with that bubblegum stuff and the little contact paper. I might put 2 sheets of contact paper back there just to try to get it out a little bit and get it level. That's my goal. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so I ended up switching to a 9/64 inch bit, a little bit bigger. And when I drilled in there, it definitely took some but there was really only about a 1/2 inch, if that, maybe a little bit less, of wall to go through. So I'm very curious to see if 1 inch is even needed here. It definitely isn't. I'm hoping it holds like it should. I took a walk inside the trailer and did not see any holes on the other side, so I'm not sure where it's poking through. It must be in the crawl space, well, not really crawl space, but the empty space in the wall, which kind of sucks. I was hoping, at least if it was poking out the back side, then I can throw some nuts on there and tighten it down, but that's not going to happen. So got my butyl tape, that's the name of it. Got it up here, and I put some marks here to show where my holes are so I can line it up. I'm going to give that a shot and try to attach. I also doubled up the contact paper, so I've got 2 strips to get it thickened up a little bit behind here to raise it up. So that should give me a little bit of lift. So let's go ahead and try to attach that now. Sorry for the wind out here if it's causing too much noise, but I got my screws in there and they're in there pretty good. I had my drill set to a 3, but I only got it down to like a 1/4 inch away, and then I hand tightened the rest of the way. My biggest fear is stripping these screws, and I definitely don't want to do that. So I hand tightened them the rest of the way, and they seem to be in there pretty good. I've got a nice little raised edge on there. You can see that from the top and bottom there, maybe. There we go. So I got it raised up a little bit. It's kind of angled a little bit actually, now that I'm seeing that. But we'll see. I'm going to get the other portion on here, the lock. So the way I'm going to do that is drill all the way through to the bunk side, and then I'm going to try to close the gap or increase the gap so I can not have to cut those bolts down. I just want to either add washers or add some type of spacing to get it spaced out just right. And I'm just kind of babbling now, so I'll tell you exactly what I did, because it's all kind of seat in my pants right now. All right, back again. So I've decided to mount them pointing down, and my thought process behind that was so that water doesn't get into the lock from this area down here. I don't even know if that's possible if I face it the other way, but I dry fitted it and it seems to be just fine with it butted right up against the top there. Lucky for me, it's at a perfect height, so I'm good to go. I already marked off my holes there. I'm gonna do some drilling and I will be good to go. See you soon. All right, let's talk hardware now. So I've got, I believe these are number 12 machine screws, bolts. And this one's a 4-inch. These are 3-inchers. And just to make sure that I know what the hell I'm talking about, there's a 4-inch, 3-inch, good to go. So my thought process behind the 4-incher was that the 4-incher, the head is going to sit on the top here. The 3-inchers are going to sit closer to the surface, so you've got this bit of distance to cover. I would have a little bit too much sticking out if I went with the 3-inch in this hole here, so I'm going to take this smaller washer, stick it on the top here. That'll allow it to rest on the top portion here, and it's not going to get in the way of the lock, so I'm good there. On the other side, I'm going to have these big boys to sit flush on the bunk, and then the acorn nuts. Yes, that's what they're called. I forgot. Cap nuts, acorn nuts, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to screw those on, and hopefully I won't have to trim these bolts at all. When I was dry fitting in the store and trying to play around with distances, I was trying to get it as close as possible to not having to cut it, or these were just going to be barely sticking out, or these were just going to be barely sticking out enough to put one of these caps on, screw it down, I'm good to go. If I need more spacing, I got some extra washers this size, and we'll play around with that. I've also got to put a little bit of the contact paper here so it doesn't scratch up my bunk end, and some more of the butyl tape, and I'll be good to go. Well, one more thing I forgot to mention about these, is they're 1/4 inch thick. Okay, so I have my holes drilled, and I hate drilling into my trailer, but I used a 1/4 inch thick bit. I might need to go a little bit wider than that, we'll see. But went through. These bottom ones went through no friggin' problem. It was like almost hollow. This top one, I hit a little bit of resistance at one point, and little shavings of metal came out on this side and on the opposite side. So good to go. Got my holes drilled there. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this down and see if I can fit these in. So here's the inside of the lock assembly. I coated around the edges with the butyl tape, and my plan was to put another template of contact paper around this, but I really don't see the need for that. I think this is going to get a nice little layer of protection, and if I put down the template of contact paper over that, I think I'm going to compromise the seal. So I'm just going to use this and stick it on there and see how that works out. And here we go. I've got it fitted in there. All my screws, or not screws, but bolts are in. And once I tighten that up, it's going to cinch it down. Got quite a bit of space sticking up here at the top, so I think my plan of not having to cut these isn't going to work out. I'm more than likely going to have to trim these back a little bit. Sucks, but whatever. So there we go. We're all the way through. Let's carry on. Okay, so I screwed one of these bolts into the acorn nut and then marked it with my fingernail. Put it up to the tape measure, and it looks like it can take about 3/8 of an inch of bolt into that acorn nut. So I've got that to work with. Quick word of advice: bend this thing freaking down so you don't keep smacking your head into it. Not that I was. Okay, so I got my first acorn nut on there successfully. It was not 3/8 of an inch. I had to go quite a bit further down, maybe another 1/8 of an inch down, or maybe it was a 1/16. I'll get the measurement after I do take this off and check it. But I just fit it on there. Got to go in, make dinner for the kidlings, and then I'll be back tomorrow with a vengeance. Here we go, back at it. It's a brand new day. Got the acorn nut off of here. I had it on. It's a little tricky to get on there, but just got to stick with it and you can get it screwed on there. This time I'm going to use a Dremel to cut the rest of these. I used a hacksaw for this one, but the measurement on this is not 3/8 I found. It's just shy, more like 4/16. So if you have to trim those down like I did, more than likely you will, then that's the measurement I had. Try to dry fit it in here, see what you come up with, and go from there. I'm going to get cutting on these bolts, get them on there so you guys have the formula, and then I'm going to repeat the process. Alright, and there we go. Everything is in place. I'm going to test it out, make sure it's working like it should, and then we're good to go. Okay, we ready? Moment of truth. I got like my knee up here, trying to balance this thing. Let's get this up and in. Success! And that's how you do that. So follow those steps, replicate it around your trailer, which is what I'm gonna do now before it hopefully does not start raining again. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope that helps in some way for you. And thanks for watching. And it's raining 5 minutes later. One more thing before I forget. Got this awesome trailer at Lemke RV in Sacramento. I think it was Rockland to be specific. Awesome folks. Highly recommend you go there, check them out. And the latches for this came from rmpcarriages.com, Discount Trailer Parts and Service. I'm not affiliated with them. I don't get any kind of kickbacks. Just awesome people from what I heard that can maybe help you out with getting some of these for your trailer. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching.